welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs and Fuego. We're documenting the journey of incredible entrepreneurs, one digital footprint at a time. Did you notice that I'm actually adding the one digital footprint at a time lately? I must be learning something.
Yes, you must be.
Marta Aguayo.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
You have kind of the best business in the world because Aguayo Motor Vehicle Services, that's where people go that do not want to go to the DMV to get their tags, their plates, any kind of, but you also have several other businesses. You're an entrepreneur at large.
Yes, I am.
Tell us about anything you want to talk about your businesses. I like this one that you have, but you also have a tax business.
I also have a tax business, and we also do bookkeeping, accounting. We basically help our clients in any way that we can. Okay. And sometimes, unfortunately, it could be divorce, it could be immigration type things that we also
So you fill out the paperwork for those people?
We fill out the paperwork,
okay.
And I don't represent in court for divorces because I'm not an attorney yet, but definitely fill out all the paperwork for them. When it comes to immigration, we fill out things like the citizenship forms as well as renewing.
What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Do you have an answer to what's going to happen with immigration, with a lot of people, with this new administration? Do we know what's going to happen? I mean, you talk to people all the time, right?
Every day about that.
Are people scared, Marta?
Everybody is very scared. They do not know what to expect. They're afraid they're going to be sent back to their respective countries.
That's what we hear.
Separated from their families,
right.
Their children that were born here. And so it is very out there is just a tremendous amount of fear, especially with our new administration that's coming in.
He's just coming to say hi. Look, he's just coming to say hi.
He knows I have huskies at home. That's why.
No way.
Yes.
Oh.
We have mama and dad and siblings.
Oh my
We have
goodness.
babies right now.
Oh, that's great. All right, so everybody's working around scared because we just don't know what's going to happen.
No idea.
What do you think it's going to occur to those families that have that uncertainty? Do you see them, or a good portion of them, packing, selling whatever they have over here?
I do.
And going back rather than risking somebody knocking on the door and going, I'm sorry,
it's
we're
time to
gonna
go. Yeah, I believe that some will go back to their countries. Some are going to stay here and deal with the fear, hoping that something will happen that will help them. And so it's a tremendous amount of fear, like I said earlier.
Oh, that's
and I know about that because I was born in Mexico, and back in, what was it, 86, 87, when we had the amnesty, I was part of that program, and so I was legalized through that program. So I know exactly how it feels to
the fear.
Be in that uncertainty and fear, and then eventually be able to become legal and do what you came here to do, which is to fulfill your dream.
And you have fulfilled your dream. And let's talk
Yes.
about that because, all right, so you come here, you take advantage of amnesty law that was passed in 1985
or 86, somewhere around there.
Around there. And then, how did you enter the entrepreneurship world? Did you work for somebody else and then you decided to break on your own, or what happened?
I think it's hereditary. My family, they're all, especially the women, we all just, we're go-getters and we're entrepreneurs. And I actually never thought I would be an entrepreneur. I always thought I was going to work for a large corporation, that I was going to be in finance. I even thought about being a police officer at one point in my life. So I never thought that I'd have my own business. And then I kind of, I think getting mad at a tax company that did my taxes, that's how I started.
So you found that somebody was not fulfilling a service that you had contracted them to do,
Correct.
And you figure, you know what, I can do this much better.
Yes.
And I can do a better service for a lot of people that may be dissatisfied with this particular.
Correct.
Service.
And especially because I had heard so many people that were dissatisfied with that service. So I thought, well, I'll do a little bit here and there. And our first year was just working out of my home on my kitchen table, filling out, writing it out, the forms and stuff. And then the next year I just started to grow.
How did you learn
I actually went to, and I'm not sure if I should mention names, but I went to H&R Block, had a course. Okay. And I took advantage of that course because they said, if you're bilingual, we will give it to you for free. Wow. And I thought, well, I'll do that and see what happens.
Free is free.
Yes.
There's so many.
And out of that, here I am today.
Isn't it interesting that did you find out that there are a lot of services and a lot of things that are offered for free that we just might not be aware of?
Correct.
And so
I'm
you
sure
have to
there
do a
is.
little bit of research.
Right. And get lucky. I think I just got lucky because it was a little flyer that got to my home, and I
Wow.
looked at it and I thought, well, I can do this. And even though I was working, I went to the class, and then I went off. I kind of spun off on my own, and I started doing that. That was 24 years ago.
And so you started building clientele, and then they keep coming back every year after year after year.
And sending me
after
their family members, and I had never had to actually advertise. It was all word of mouth, and so I just grew by word of mouth, and so it's been a great journey doing that.
Word of mouth is kind of a double-edged sword because if right?
Yes.
Because unfortunately, even as you are as good as you are, you can't satisfy everybody 100% of the time.
Correct.
There's always somebody out there that maybe perceived that they were not given the proper service, whatever it is.
Correct.
And you have to do
Well,
the best that you can.
If someone recommends you because you did a good job, they might recommend one or two. If you did a bad job, they will tell people about your bad job, 10, 20 people.
Oh,
so
gosh.
it can be a double-edged sword that way. But for me, actually, it really
incredibly
worked
well.
out great. And it wasn't until last year that I started to advertise a little bit, but not much.
Okay, and then Aguayo Motor Vehicle Services
Correct.
started, which I'm fascinated by that because it really helps a lot of people who may not want to, just stand in line with the DMV and everything else. You could
Correct.
you solve that. You solve
Right.
that.
Well, many
How
years
did you
ago,
come up with that?
Well, many years ago, I thought about it, and I was like, someday I would like to do that. When I purchased my building, I went ahead and even before I had contacted ADOT, I told them, I'm like, well, I need it to be built a certain way so that when I become a third-party motor vehicle, I have it ready. And some people kind of laughed about it, and they're like, well, how do you know you're going to do that? And I said, because I want to, and I will do what it takes to get it. So here I got it.
That is interesting. So let's talk about that for a second, because in any kind of, and we talk to hundreds of entrepreneurs, and one of the things that comes back all the time is that they will say something much like you said. Oh, there was a group of people out there that laughed about it, that
Correct.
they did not believe it, and they're kind of just making fun of, oh yeah, what are you doing buying that building? How are you going to do it?
Right.
And what did you do?
You just don't listen. Yeah, you just kind of say, that is your opinion, this is mine, and this is my dream, and I will go for it, and I will do what I have to do. That's basically what I always say. On my Facebook page, I have, it says fearless on the background.
Right.
And that's what I have basically done. I am fearless when it comes to my business, on what I'm going to do, my goals, and that's kind of like what I want to instill in people. Do not be afraid to really go out there and do what you need to do.
Does that fearlessness come from your father, your mother, a combination?
My mother probably.
I was going to say because you mentioned
She
that
is not afraid of anything. No, definitely not. And my grandmother, who is now deceased, was the same way. She was an entrepreneur and just did all kinds of different things, and she was never afraid. It was great to watch.
What is, you've been here for a number of years now, what is the best advice that somebody ever gave you while you were here?
The advice I would always hear was just work hard, and
Yes.
And so I do believe in working hard, but I also believe you have to work smart. It's not just about working hard, and to follow my dreams. It was always that. I think one of the things too was people not believing that you can do something and basically saying, I'm going to prove you wrong. I had a lot of people that thought, well, you were an illegal immigrant at one point. You couldn't speak English, you couldn't do this. How are you going to be that? And so I thought, well, I will be the first one in the family to graduate from college, which I was, and I will continue to have other goals in life that I will reach eventually. So.
And you continue to defy all those naysayers. You continue to defy
Yes,
all those other
and it's really nice to see when you actually finally get to that point. You don't turn around and say, I told you so. You just turn around and say, can I help you? What can I do for you today? What can my services do for you today? So that's kind of like my way of saying, there you go.
Success is the best revenge.
Yes.
Right?
It's really funny because I have a tattoo that says exactly that. The best revenge is massive success. And my daughter as well. That is.
I'm a psychic.
You are. How did you know? I don't know.
I will tell you, but then if I told you, I'd have to kill you. You don't want that.
No. I have a lot of people to help still.
Exactly. Marta Aguayo, you're really an inspiration. I got to tell you my profound respect.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show. And this is the type of story that I know I will click over and over again because this morning, for instance, I woke up, I'm a little bit down, and then I clicked on one of the interviewees, one of the guests that we had interviewed, and he had an inspiring story. And I was listening to his interview, and it just, my whole outlook for the day changed.
Right.
And that's today's interview, today's story that you're telling, that you're sharing with us, will be the same thing. Next time I'm feeling a little bit down, all I got to do is click on this story, and I will start feeling better.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're an amazing woman.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roy. I appreciate it. Aguayo Motor Vehicles Services. Remember that.
Yes.
Yes?
And Aguayo Financial Solutions.
And Aguayo Financial Solutions.
Right.
And what else? You're going to conquer the world.
Aguayo Tax and Accounting Services.
What else?
Probably eventually it'll be attorney at law. I don't know. That's definitely in the back there, kind of waiting for me to do something with it.
Do me the honor of taking us out. So all you got to say is, with that, we're out.
With that, we're out.